All right, here's a little video of how to use the Godiva2 viewer, which comes with every Threads data server. It's actually using the web map service, accessing its own web map service to visualize the data. So it works for curvilinear structured grid data. It doesn't work for unstructured grid data. So if you go to particular Threads catalog, here we have a whole bunch of data sets and a whole bunch of unstructured grid models. But then we have some structured grid models here. So any one of these, we click on one of these guys. We come up and we see a bunch of services here. This OpenDAP service could be opened as just like an .cdf file. If you right mouse clicked and copied the link, actually you would click here and copy this data URL, Control A, and then Control C, and then you could open that as a .cdf file. But what I'm here to talk to you about today is the Godiva2 viewer here. If you click on this little guy, comes up and tells you the name of the data set over here. You have to click that little plus sign here and to expand to see all the different variables. And it lists out either the standard name or the long name if there's no standard name. So if we wanted to look at oxygen, say, we could click on this guy here. And then it comes up with a little calendar over here, and then a plot here, and we can. The screen's a little small, but so we can change. Actually, maybe I can make it a little smaller. There we go. And you can click. It has sort of a stupid default range on the variables. You can set that up. I haven't set that up yet for this server, but if you click on auto here, for instance, then you can see it auto scales this plot, and you can see what time, so what time it is up here. It's January 1st, 2006 at 0 hours, and there's just one per day for this data set. This is actually showing here, it says depth, but this is actually showing the sigma layer in this sigma level model. So this is the top layer. If we wanted to look at the bottom layer, it would be this one, actually 0.975. You can see that the oxygen concentration's got a lot lower. We could click auto again, and then it rescales, and now we can see the DO here in the middle of the channel of this. This is Chesapeake Bay. You can jump back a year here. You can hold down this and see different years here. If we pop to a particular year, you can click this little guy and go forward in just 1 month. So we could go forward to sometime in August here. And we could, let's go to June, and we'll click on a particular date. And so now it's accessing the data, plotting that map up. So if we wanted to, change the limits here, we can just type in new limits. Like if we wanted to go from 0 here to say 10, we just change those limits. If we wanted to go on we could do a log plot if we wanted to. Well, we can't do a log plot with 0, so we could go 0.1 or something like that if we wanted to do a log plot. Of course, that's going to look kind of stupid. Okay, so we want to go back to linear plot. Let's go back to 0. And and I just wanted to show here a few other things you can do. You can, of course, you can zoom in with a shift drag. So we can pop in here, and we can also click this little guy here if we want to zoom out, and we can also pan around. Let's see. So let's go out a little bit more. No, that was too much. Okay. Anyway, so we pick some time period. Let's just say we want. We've got this. June date picked. Let's say we want that to be our first frame. We can click on that little first frame thing, and it says create animation from some date. And then we can, let's go forward a couple of months to September and click on another time. And now let's say we want that to be our last frame. And so now we have a little time range here of a few months. And if we click create animation, it will come back and say, you've got a lot of frames here. Do you want to do all of them? Do you want to do weekly, monthly, whatever? Let's do weekly. I don't know if this is going to be very interesting, but so we're going to be looking at an animation of the bottom, oxygen. Oh, that's not super exciting. So we click here to stop the animation, but we can also click in a particular spot and get a time series. So if we click in one spot here, let's see here. If we click in a particular spot, like I don't know, like in here or something, we can actually see what that value is right there. We can actually we can do a vertical profile plot, which it shows us from the top signal layer to the bottom. So this could be a little bit distorted, since but it basically shows you the structure. And let's see, and then you can create a little time series plot. Since we have a start and a stop time, we create a little time series plot. It will actually sample the data and show you what the variability looks like in time. So it's a decent little way to browse the data. You can actually open that animation in Google Earth. If you click here, you can switch to other variables like temperature and auto scale that and so on. You can actually even you can click this little guy and do a little track along the data, and double click at the end, and it'll bring up little plots there. So the thing is, it comes with every version of Threads. So you can do this with any of the data sets. If we go back, so we're looking at this 15-year-long data set, but if we go back and look at some other one here, like this Chesrom's result, again we click on that, and again we have to click on that little plus sign, same thing, and up pops this other model. Click on the log auto scale again, click on the bottom, and auto scale that again, and so on. So here we have oh, and by the way, the grayed out areas show you don't have any data. If we go back, you can see at each of these darker values we have data for that whole all this range going back here a couple of years, and if we go back, but if we go back to say 2000, well, that's the beginning. If we go back, yeah, we can't go back past the beginning, but anyway, it starts in January. This is a 2-year data set. All right, I think that's good enough, and hopefully that was useful.